Hello guys, welcome to the Flying Automation channel. In this video, we will learn about data tables. There is multiple data table activities available in UiPath like build data table, output data table, for each row, and etc. As you as you can see on a screen. So let's go to the UiPath studio. You can see here I have already created a program using data table activities. Firstly, I used here build data table activity. In this activity, I have created a data table. So I will show you. So I have created a data table with three columns. That is a serial number, name, and address. Okay. So I'm clicking on OK and go to the property section and see here I provided the name of data table is a student DT. After that, I used here another activity that is a add data column. For this activity, we are using these activities for adding another column in the data table. So suppose that in a student DT data table, three column are available. So I wanted to add another one column. So in the student DT table data table, three column are available. So I want to do four column. So I want add another column in that data table. So that's why I'm using here add data column. So in these activities, you can see here I provided the column name is a age and which data table I want to add a student DT. So only two parameter passing here for these activities. After that, you can see below activities add data row. Add data row activity is using for adding a row in the data table. So you can see a student data table I have created already. As you know, there is a three column, but I have not provided any value of that table. So only that is an empty data table currently. So using this activity, I add some row in the data table. So that's why I'm using these activities. So let's see this activity what I did here. So you can see uh, I passing a one parameter that is a array row. So actually I'm passing the array here. So in array what I did here. So as you can see here, uh, that is I'm passing a four value. Why? Because in the data table there is three column, but after that I have add another column is that is a age column. So in the data table there is a four column. So in the array section I'm providing the four value. So first is a uh, one, second is a Rohit because in the second column I mentioned the name, and the third column I mentioned in the address, and the fourth column that is a age. So this is a array. I am passing the value through the array. So I click on the OK, I cancel. I'm not changing any value. That's one. So and another parameter is providing the data table name. So in which data table I wanted to this row. So obviously we are added in the student DT data table. So for similarly we are adding the three row here. So because of that I'm using three activities here. For all activity I have provided another uh, values in using array. So you can see here Manoj, Dehradun 16. So age is different in the all the three rows. So after that I have used another activity that is a filter data table. This is the most important data table because in the if you are working on the large amount of data, so obviously you need always the filter the data table or filter the data. So it's a very important. So what kind I did here, so I will show you. So I did here according to the age I filter the data. So I have a in the data table three row available in the data table. So I make the condition here. If age is less than 18, it means condition is true. So if match this condition, each any row, so that row uh, take and put in the another data table. So I'm providing the data table name that is a filter DT. So any rows matching this condition, so that row copy in the another data table, that is a filter data table. So if you want to, if you do anything, you can change the condition, and you can, according to your requirement, you can write the condition. So I'm clicking on OK. I hope you understand these activities, what I do here. So I also tell you the uh, we are we are creating another data table, that is a filter dt. Before data table is a student dt. So where we are filtering the data, a student dt, this data table I want to filter by this condition, and are stored in the data table, filter data table. So after that, what can I did here? So I'm using here the for each row, this activities for the using for a loop. If you want to run anything in the loop, so you can put this activity in this activity. So obviously I provided here the filter dt. This is a data table, so it means data table means lots of row uh, available in the data table. So how many rows available in the data table, that that times it's run this loop. So in this data table, what can I did here? So I take get get row item activity. So in these activities, I'm taking a one value of the data table. So in this activity, what can I did here? So I take providing the row, in the row section, in the row second column, I column index is a second. So as you can describe in the above, I'm providing the array. In the array, four value are available. So array always start with the 0. So index is providing is a 2 is a uh, third row, because is the first row is a 0, uh, and the second, so it means it's showing the second. So I run the program, and I will show you what I, and after that this data are stored in the data variable, that is here I'm printing the message. After that, what I did here, I'm using here the killer data table. Currently I uh, disable these activities, because these activities clear all the data tables. It means remove all the rows from the data tables. So I'm disable these activities. If you want to see the then I can enable and run this activity. So after that, I using here output data table. Output data tables, it's provide a string value. Suppose data table is a multiple data table in the multiple row in the data tables. So if you want to print that data table, so that time we need the output data table required, because these activities, all the data table value put in the one string, and that string are stored in the any variable. So that variable is a out dt, and out dt I pass in the message box. So we here is a two message box. One is a under the each for each loop, and another is a outside of the loop. So this message box running uh, uh, many times, like whatever the row available in the data tables, and this data filter data tables, it mean if in the data table two row are available, so two times it's run this message box. If I have a three data row, uh, three rows in the data table, so it runs three times. And after that, after all the these activities are, so I will run this program and show you the output. So firstly I save this and run this program. As you can see, this is the for each loop message box. So first is Patna, second is Dehradun, and third, this is the last message box activities output here. So in this output activities, you can see two rows are available. Rohit Patna, and age is 17, and Manoj Dehradun, age is 16. So these two rows are age of both the rows are is the less than 18. That's why. So you can see the, if I'm clear the data table, so I disable this, enable these activities, clear data table. So I, for enable and disable, I will tell you one thing, another thing. If you want to disable any activity, so like I want to disable this activity, so press Control D. So then this activity is disabled. If you want to enable these activities, then select and Control E. So enable this activity. So that's, I'm pressing Control E for enable this activity. After that, again I run this program to see, show you clear the data table. What is Patna, Dehradun, and you can see here in this data table, not any row available, only the headers is showing, serial number, name, and address. Okay, so this data table is empty. So I hope you are understand all the activity of data table. So thank you for watching this video. We will meet in the next video.